In another place, Prabhupada explains, unless one is under the shelter of a realized spiritual master, his understanding of the Supreme Lord is simply foolishness. So much sentiment, so much emotion. We see the tendency of neophytes wanting to jump to the level of the gopis with Krishna, the Rasa Leela, the esoteric pastimes of Krishna. That is the tendency of the conditioned soul, to imitate, to impudently imitate. But our task is to submissively hear and serve. We see anybody who studies the songs of Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and our great previous acharyas, there are so many instructions. There are so many points that they give about how to become a proper servant, not an impudent upstart, a Sahajiya. Prabhupada in Orissa one time was visiting in January of 1977, and in one conversation he says, my Guru Maharaj used to say that so many Sahajiyas will come. When our men will become Sahajiya, they will become more dangerous, unquote. Prabhupada has given so many indications in his books of Sahajiyas. Cheap devotees, they take everything cheap. The tendency to jump like monkeys. Every time Srila Prabhupada was asked by various devotees about how to establish one's rasa with Krishna, or one's personal relationship with Krishna, or the Siddhi Pranali process, so many intimate esoteric questions, Prabhupada's answer was always, first you become liberated, first you become Paramamsa, first understand you're not the body, then it will be revealed to you. There is no need to jump artificially. We have seen the results of people trying to jump. It's simply a disaster. It's quite significant that in 1976, Prabhupada admonished certain devotees, which was called the Gopi Bhava Club, of premature attempts to jump to certain pastimes of Krishna. But there's another aspect to that whole transcendental Leela, that Srila Prabhupada gave so many instructions, so many different instructions. I personally have spoken to several devotees that were allegedly involved in this so-called Gopi Bhava Club. And they told me a very different story. It was not as it was mistakenly represented to Srila Prabhupada. There was no saris, no special dancing, no special Gopi Bhava nonsense. They were simply reading from the Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. But many of the leaders felt threatened because they sensed that these devotees were also criticizing some of the Sankirtan methods that were in vogue at the time, and they felt that if that criticism kept increasing, it would affect their money-making. Now, it's a fair point that devotees should distribute books, should make some effort to preach the message of Lord Chaitanya as directed by Srila Prabhupada. But there was some friction, because many of these devotees simply wanted to present properly Krishna consciousness without any of the tricks and other things that were going on. So there are many other histories of this. At some point, I know I had many personal conversations with one devotee named Jagjivan, the late Jagjivan, who departed several years ago, who was allegedly involved in this, and he told me it was a very different story than what had been represented. As a matter of fact, Srila Prabhupada, after this whole incident, wrote a personal letter to one of the devotees named Puranjana. But Puranjana never got the letter. and one Pushta Krishna and others, Ray Bhaktinandan Swami, they went to Puranjana and they said, "Did you get that nice letter from Srila Prabhupada?" And Puranjana says, "What letter? I never got the letter." So then they realized the letter had been intercepted by some motivated people, which gives the point who had control of all these discussions. Just like we've discussed several times, are in 1977, in September, when Srila Prabhupada came back from London, England to Bombay, India, he gave an order to the lead secretary that he wanted all of his disciples to come visit him in Vrindavan, to meet with him in Vrindavan. But the information was never relayed. The information was suppressed by certain motivated individuals. Now this is very troublesome. The orders of the spiritual master, the teachings of the spiritual master cannot be suppressed by any elitist individuals, Sahajiyas, who think they know better than everybody else, who think they understand better than everybody else. Srila Prabhupada was a Paramamsa, a topmost Paramamsa. He treated everyone equally, all living entities, all of his disciples. He didn't play favorites. If anybody wanted to serve Krishna, anybody wanted to render some service to the mission of Lord Chaitanya, he facilitated them. He engaged them. But it seems quite obvious and evident that many people thought they were better than everybody else, to the point that they could suppress Srila Prabhupada's order. They could deny Srila Prabhupada's order. Very dangerous. So next time somebody tells you, well, such and such senior devotee has told us in such and such video or such and such presentation, you think about that. These senior devotees that suppressed Prabhupada's desire, that denied Prabhupada's last desire to bring all his people in Vrindavan, what is their credibility? Why did they deny Srila Prabhupada's desire to bring all of his disciples to Vrindavan? Why did they deny Srila Prabhupada's desire to go on parikram in Govardhan Hill? Oh, I'm sure they will reply, oh, we were concerned about Prabhupada's health. But Prabhupada told you, I think I shall be cured. If Srila Prabhupada tells you that if you do such and such activity, I will be cured, why wouldn't you want to fulfill that? Why wouldn't you want to follow that? Why did you deny Srila Prabhupada's last desires? This is a very important point. That's why Srila Prabhupada is explaining the divine grace. Well, how do we get the divine grace of the spiritual master? Is it just a physical thing? Yes, there is Vapu, or the physical association. That was very special. That was very unique. Many of us were very fortunate to get or obtain that personal physical association. But that association with Srila Prabhupada is available right now. They say you should approach a physical person. Well, Prabhupada is physical. The deity is physical. The picture is physical. The books are physical. You can also see Prabhupada directly now on video. You can hear Prabhupada chanting. You can hear Srila Prabhupada giving a Bhagavatam class. You can hear Srila Prabhupada chanting japa. A few classes ago, we had a discussion how in one purport in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada is explaining how the voice of a pure devotee is very powerful. Why? Because it is in contact with the saffron mercy particles that are strewn over the lotus feet of the Lord. That is the unique position of His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada.